In this video, I'm going to show you what a high probability setup should look like and contain. Hey guys, this is Synthetic Goddess, and on this channel, I teach strategies to trade synthetic indices and other financial markets, even if you are a beginner. So if this sounds like something you'd love to learn, do not forget to click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you what high probability setup should look like and what it should contain. One thing you need to know about marking out high probability setup is that it is dependent on your strategy, entry confirmation, and confluence. But I am going to be showing you what a general high probability setup should contain and what it should actually look like. So we have 4 checklists that must be filled before you call a particular setup high probability. Number 1, your market structure has to be in place. Number 2, your liquidity should be in place. Number 3, your point of interest or area of interest should be standard. Then number 4, you have to get your entry confirmation. Those are the 4 checklists that your high probability setup has to fill before you actually call it high probability setup. If you mark just 3 out of this checklist, it is not high probability setup. It has to be fully marked. The 4 has to be fully filled before you can call it high probability setup. So I am going to show you what you should look out for in each of those checklists. So the first one is the market structure. What should you look out for when it comes to market structure? Number 1, you have to get your last break of structure. It is very essential to get the last break of structure of the market. That is going to help you know that the market is trending and it is not just static. You have to be able to mark out the last break of structure. It is also going to help you to identify the range that market is currently trading in. So if I want to mark out my last break of structure, I would just do something like this. My break of structure to the upside. And it has to be with a body candle. And you can see that when we had this break of structure, we had impulsive movements to the upside. We had a little distance away from our break of structure, which showcases to me that all we are expecting right here is for market to come back and give us a retracement. Then we're going to look out for a continuation. So I currently know the range I am trading in. I am trading from this low. This is the range I am currently trading in. From this low to this high. To this high, where we had the last break of structure. That is the current range I am trading in. Meaning that I am not expecting market to go below this low if my buy setup is still going to be valid. Now you understand that the market is trending to the upside, and whatever it is you're looking out for is a buy continuation until market proves you otherwise by breaking this low. So you are rest assured that your market structure is in place. We are trending. The second thing you are looking out for is where is the possible liquidity that market is going to come back to. Liquidity markout is going to be dependent on the kind of strategy that you trade. SMC, ICT, personal trader, liquidity trader. All of these things are dependent on the kind of strategy that you trade. Personally, I am going to mark out my inducement level, and I have 2 types of inducement. I have the primary and I have the secondary. That is for me. Other traders can mark out their trendline liquidity, your sell side liquidity, buy side liquidity. You can mark that out. But personally, what I am going to be looking out for is possible area of inducement in the market. So I am going to mark that out, and I am going to put my liquidity in check. So if I am going to be marking that out, I am going to be marking my secondary inducement out. First, where is my secondary inducement? Of course, this low is my secondary inducement. You can check my page to understand my primary and secondary inducements. This was the low created right after we had a break of structure, and that low did not give us a real retracement. So this low is my secondary inducement. And where is my primary inducement? I am going to be marking out this low as my primary inducement. Now, the next thing you want to make sure that you are putting in place is the point of interest or the area of interest. I also have two area of interest. I have the primary area of interest and I have the secondary area of interest, depending on how the market gave the movement when we had the break of structure. Like I said earlier, markets gave impulsive movement away from our break of structure. So I'm going to be marking out my secondary area of interest just to be on the safer side. And I am going to mark out my primary area of interest so that I can also be on the safer side. And I am going to look at the area where market gives me a confirmation. That area market gives me a confirmation is where I am going to proceed for the continuation. So first, I am marking out my secondary area of interest based on the fact that we had impulse to the upside. So this is my breaker. I am going to mark out my breaker. Then I am going to mark out my primary area of interest. This is the area I'm going to mark out because, of course, we also have fair value gap under our primary inducement. This is it here. You can see that we had fair value gap under it. Now, you can see that I have been able to put these three things into place. I've been able to get my structure, my current movement, the current movement of the market, the last break of structure. I've been able to mark out my liquidity, which includes my secondary and primary inducement. For you, your liquidity might be sell side liquidity, it might be buy side liquidity, it might be trend line liquidity. Depending on the kind of strategy you use, you should know the kind of liquidity you are looking out for. Now, all of these strategies works. You just need to be able to fine-tune everything. So the next thing I am going to be waiting for is my confirmation, which is the most important thing because most traders does not wait for this. They just mark out a particular point of interest and they jump into the market, and you see that market exhausts them before even moving in their direction. So it is very, very important. It is extremely important to wait for your entry confirmation. If you're not waiting for your entry confirmation, then it is not a high probability setup. It is not in any way high probability. So since I've been able to mark out my point of interest, I can just go on my 2 hours time frame, 4 hours time frame, because of course, this is 24 hours time frame. And of course, since this is a 24 hours time frame, you can as well join in the retracements happening here. So you don't have to wait all day. You don't have to wait for weeks before you see markets come back to your point of interest. So you can also join the retracement, but you know that that is not the high probability setup. If you are trading retracement, it is not high probability. It is B setup or even C setup, depending on where you are entering your retracement. Your high probability setup is that everything is in check and you are not trading retracement. So you can as well join the retracements, this sell movement that happened. You can as well join it so that you do not have to wait for weeks before you take a trade. So I'm going to go to my 4 hours time frame and I am going to get my confirmation. Since we've marked out our primary point of interest, the next thing we're just waiting for is for market to give us a change of character. Now, when market gets to your point of interest and on the middle time frame, like 4 hours time frame, 2 hours time frame, and you get your change of character, it is a signal for you that market has exhausted the retracements. So you can see what we had here. We impulsively add a change of character to the upside. There was an impulse change of character to the upside, which is a signal to us that market wants to use this, our secondary area of interest. Now, what we're just going to wait for is to enter the continuation trade or wait for a retracement back into this area. You can see that we had void here. This is where my first lookout for a continuation is going to be. I am going to be expecting market to come back right into this void area to fill it up. However, when we started having this little break of structure to the upside, I would have also joined in the market. You can see that we had little break of structure to the upside. Let's check our 2 hours time frame. You can see that after markets gave us a change of character, we started having a break of structure to the upside, which is a signal that market wants to continue. So you can look for your continuation area right from there. So this is a break of structure to the upside right after market has given us a change of character, which is a signal that market wants to, make that continuation. We had fair value gap here. There was fair value gap that should be filled. You can see that markets came back to fill it. The same thing you did for higher time frame is what you are going to do on lower time frame. The market is very, very fractal. Where you are trying to get a confirmation, to also get high probability confirmation, you have to do the same thing you did on higher time frame, the same way we looked at our checklist. You have to look at it on the lower time frame also. Now, see what I am trying to say. We had a break of structure to the upside here. Market created this low. Let me show you. This is how you get your continuation. Market created this low as my inducement. This is my secondary inducement. Market created this low as the secondary inducement. And you can see that there was fair value gap below that liquidity, which makes it more of high probability setup for me. So I am just going to mark out my point of interest. This is my point of interest. This is the candle I am going to mark out. This red candle, I am going to mark it out as point of interest. When I see a confirmation on the lower time frame also right from here, of course, market is going to give you change of character either on the 15 minutes time frame or on the 5-minute time frame. You're going to see a change of character happening around here. You can just join the market right from here and you put your stop loss at a very good place. Now, that is what we call high probability setup. You have a checklist and you are looking at the checklist to be filled before you pick your trade. And guess what happened? Market gave that movement to the upside to break this our external, to break this our high. So this is where my take profit is going to be, and this is about 1:4, which is really amazing. Now, the next thing you will do, you will continue the same thing we did, a break of structure to the upside. Look for possible liquidity. Market is coming back to take inside this zone. Get your point of interest and do what? Continue. Now, this is where my point of interest is going to be based on this time frame. You can see that this is the biggest sponsored candle. I am going to mark out 50%. It is a very big candle. So I'm going to mark out just 50% of that and see what market is going to do at 50%. So this is my 50%. You can see the market did not come back to 50% and it's just moved that way. I might have missed this particular trade here, but that does not mean I am not going to see another trade to take, right? I am going to look for a continuation, do the same thing over and over again, look for my break of structure, possible liquidity market is coming back to take, and points of interest. Then I get my confirmation and that is it for me. I hope you've been able to learn 1 or 2 things right from this video. Give it a like, share to your friends, and also do not forget to leave a comment. Thank you guys for watching till the end. Have an amazing trading day ahead.